Okay, for starters, for those who actually know the manga and read the manga, which I would assume is most of you, you know that this isn't a hot take. Muzan does have a massive ego, and I want to talk about why his ego is not only kind of surprising, but also his biggest downfall. Now, for those who only have watched the anime and don't want any spoilers for the manga, feel free to click off. But most of my videos do involve going into the manga, so I would assume a lot of you have either read it or don't really care about spoilers in the first place. Now, with all that said, I want to talk about exactly why I feel this way. Now, for starters, we see a massive thing with Muzan and his ego, especially towards humans, aka or the demon slayers, when he speaks with Akaza. Akaza comes back, stands in front of him, kneels down, and declares that yes, he had to run away from the sun, but he actually killed a Hashira, inclining that he actually killed Rengoku. Now, this would piss off Muzan. Muzan would make it apparent that that is what's supposed to happen, that Hashira and Demon Slayer shouldn't stand a chance against demons, that the fight shouldn't even be close. And it makes it pretty obvious that flat out, Muzan thinks very highly of demons and very lowly of humans. And of course we get the sense of this almost off the bat because I mean, he has no remorse in killing families and changing people into demons just like that. But here's the thing that really confused me when I first started the anime and then obviously eventually drifted into the manga. Now, for starters, we see Muzan at the very beginning in the city full of lights, the city that he can mostly blend into, and this city is always lit up, even at night, so he can easily just roam around. Now, this is where Muzan's biggest downfall truly begins. Muzan's ego prevents him from even killing Tanjiro at this point. Yes, don't get me wrong, he has some sort of vision of the nameless swordsman that he once fought a long time ago, but that fight wasn't necessarily a fight, it was more of a slaughter on behalf of the other demon slayer by the name of Yoriichi. Now, he sees Tanjiro and sees the earrings he has and absolutely freaks out, at least in his own head. Now, his way of getting out of there is to turn someone that is currently there into a demon and scurry away. Now, he does eventually and decide to make two other demons to go after, well, Tanjiro himself to kill him. But my question is, if Tanjiro was a threat, or at least reminded him of a massive threat, why not just kill him then and there? Now, you may argue, well, he's trying to blend in, he's trying to not arouse suspicion, and so on. He is trying to find the blue spider lily, and that is very true. But here's the issue. He believes that he is so much stronger, so much better, and there's no way that demons could ever lose to humans, that someone that actually reminds him of the demon slayer that once destroyed him and hurt him so bad, sending him scurrying for hundreds of years to hide away, he decides that he doesn't kill him. He doesn't make sure he kills him with his own hands. He believes that someone else could truly do it. And I think it's an understatement to say that Tanjiro himself would be the biggest undoing of Muzan. And there is no understatement of that. We know that he is the biggest undoing of Muzan. Muzan would lose because of Tanjiro. Of course, there is a mix of Tanjiro and Nezuko, but at the same time, we know that he's a big deal. Now, with that said, I just want to use that as an example, but I also want to talk about something else as well, and that would actually be the hunt for the blue spider lily. And we know Muzan actually searches for it for quite a bit of time, searching and having other demons search throughout the night. But here's where things get a little iffy, at least for me. He would manipulate and also treat that family he quote-unquote had, acting as if he was human. And he would treat them like, oh, like you're my family and you're basically a way for me to hide away. And he does this with humans quite a bit, basically keeping himself away from the limelight. But why not use the demon powers you have to actually hunt down the spider lily. And you may be wondering, what do you mean the demon powers he has? Well, it's obvious that Muzan is a master manipulator, and because of his demon powers, quote unquote, and his longevity in life, he's learned various of ways to manipulate and trick people into believing the things he wants them to believe. So why not convince humans to hunt down this so-called blue spider lily by more or less convincing them that it's some sort of scientific research or so on and so forth. Instead of doing that, he actually works with other demons to hunt the blue spider lily down. But we all know that in the manga it says that it only grows during the daylight, so, or it only basically can be picked out in the daylight. So why would he not go about his way and actually manipulate humans? And I know I'm talking about a very, very sketchy subject at this point, because we're talking about the bad guys here. These are not good people. So when you hear me talking about these things, I'm not saying these are good things to do necessarily, but in the fit of that, or the situation that Muzan is currently in, this would be the right thing to do. Now, I want to point to somebody that actually does pretty well in terms of manipulation, and that would be Doma. Doma is basically has convinced everyone that he is a god or a descendant of a god, and his eyes themselves prove that specifically, and he's more or less being worshipped, being treated like the god he was once framed to be, and he continues to be treated in that way over and over and over again. Now, I'm not saying Muzan even has to do that. He doesn't. But he does need to drop the ego and realize that humans do have some use. The intelligence they hold, or the information they can gain throughout the daylight when he cannot be around, is something to be used properly. He needs to realize, or needed to realize, that he needs to utilize what everybody else believes as a human to his own advantage. They need to find the blue spider lily through humans themselves, but he doesn't properly do that. And it's not even an understatement, excuse me, to even say that. He believes that demons are so far and above the humans that he doesn't want to utilize them. He doesn't want to actually use them for his search for something as important as the blue spider lily. Now, you may be thinking, well, I mean, he literally uses some other humans to hide away, which this is a bit of an anomaly for me to believe in, because it is odd to think about. It's as if he's tricking them or treating them as a lesser mindful being, so he actually utilizes their ignorance and not their intelligence to actually benefit him. Yeah, that's where the anomaly kind of ends for me, because the way I see it is he's not using the humans in a way of like, oh, I think I can actually benefit from you. He's using it in a way of, I think you're so ignorant that, or stupid, and can't see what's right in front of you, so I can use that to my own advantage and take advantage of you, so I can more or less hide away and not be put in a situation that is non-comparable. But what situation would truly be non-comparable for Muzan? Maybe his ego made it so that he believes that all these other demons should actually do his bidding. His other demons should actually hunt the blue spider lily while he sits back and does practically nothing. Because let's be transparent, the very end game fight, when Muzan takes on all the Hashira, takes on every last person there, we know Muzan has the strength to kill them all. We know that Muzan is strong enough by far to defeat everybody. But what happens and what's the reason why he loses is different. The reason he loses is because of the antidote mixed in with obviously the cure of being a demon, accelerating his aging like crazy. So it makes him quite a bit weaker throughout the time, and with just the sunlight, quote unquote, on the side of the demon slayers as a ticking time bomb of some sorts, they're able to stall him out and eventually defeat Muzan. But that's the thing. Muzan at many points of time could have isolated Demon Slayers and killed them, kind of what Akaza eventually would do. Because Akaza would kill Rengoku, but he was not there to send, or was not sent there to kill Rengoku. This was the really only time that Muzan actually put respect in terms of Tanjiro's capabilities, believing that Tanjiro should be killed, sending Akaza to actually kill him. But still, even Muzan himself could have showed up, and if he did, showing up at the Mugen train, let's just say that fight would have been hell. There's no way they would have won, everybody would have died, and the story would have been over. We would be talking about Muzan and the demons eclipsing even further into the story, and arguably maybe even finding out how to conquer the sun, because they would leave Nezuko alive. Now, this is a big thing where I believe Muzan's ego just hurts him extremely bad, and I'm gonna make this clear. Not getting your own hands dirty is part of his ego. That is a massive part of his ego. He believed that he was too good to be put in situations like that. He was too good to actually do his own dirty work. That's why he would send demons after Tanjiro. That's why he would send Akaza to the Mugen train, and so on and so forth. And eventually he would find the opening to actually go out himself and take on the Demon Slayers. But why did he eventually come out and take on all the Demon Slayers? Because Nezuko conquered the sun. That was the only thing that made him believe he needed to now put things into his own hands to actually do something greater, because he could now conquer the sun and become entirely immortal. Now, this was the only time that Muzan quote-unquote dropped the ego. I mean, you can kind of say that in a way, because he drops the ego, goes himself, and actually straight up has all of these demons, some of the strongest among them, ranging from Kokushibo to Doma to Akaza to many more, to fight all the Demon Slayers and ideally kill them all. But obviously that doesn't go too well, and frankly enough, we have Muzan on the surface being attacked or being restrained by this so-called cure and so on, and Muzan doesn't really even join the fight and start killing people until more or less all of his other demons are dead, which also makes zero sense in my book, and kind of leans toward the idea that Muzan didn't want to get his hands dirty in the first place. And that is a absolute wild idea in my opinion, because at the end of the day, Muzan knows that this is the end game, that this will actually bring him to the point where he can conquer the sun. But instead of guaranteeing that the pathway to conquering the sun was assured, he would wait back and allow his other strongest demons to actually be felled by Demon Slayers. Yeah, and of course, don't get me wrong, he didn't know that Akaza, that Doma and Kokushibo would die the way they died, and he didn't think that Akaza would give away the opportunity to more or less be immune to actually getting their head cut off. Now, all of these things are true. He didn't know for sure exactly what would occur, but with Muzan being the way he is, and kind of set up to be this sort of mastermind in a way, someone that is doing all of this research, or someone that is trying to hunt down this mythical blue spider lily to transcend just demonhood itself into the realm of immortality, you would think that Muzan's plan would be a little bit more foolproof. You would think that Muzan himself would want to guarantee that this fight would be won. But the ego of the demons and the ego of Muzan specifically was the hard downfall of his more or less journey into trying to get pure immortality. And that's why Muzan would eventually lose. And that's what I believe. And I believe that Muzan's ego was a giant downfall in the Demon Slayer manga. And it was a giant downfall for him specifically, and was a big reason why the Demon Slayers won. Because I talk about it a lot in my videos that the Demon Slayers always have the disadvantage. And that's just the truth of it. They always have a massive disadvantage. They don't have superhuman strength. They don't have superhuman speed. They don't have infinite amounts of stamina. They're always on the back foot. But Muzan also gave them the opening for the killing blow because his ego was just too big, was way too big to guarantee that he could become truly immortal. Now, with that said, I would love to hear what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll be doing a couple of these videos every so often, maybe once a week, hopefully, and they're more like rant type of videos or just my thoughts on certain things. Maybe it'll be different animes, from Demon Slayer to JJK to maybe even the new solo leveling anime that just came out. Not 100% sure just yet, but as always, if y'all enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff, and I hope all y'all have an amazing day. Later.